end up in a European derby where they will face up against BBT as the last series of the day. So I'm leaning towards Eastern Europe, honestly. I feel like the combination, Team Spirit, BBT, I think Nine Pandas has also, you know, I think they're definitely third in Eastern Europe, but I think they're still a top 8 team. I mean, they're already a top 8 team, but I think they could easily get top 6, top 4.
Well, my answer is I think Eastern Europe has taken over at this tournament at least.
Okay.
And they are the foes to beat right now. By the way, what the hell was that D-War, man? Like,
The battle.
Quest. Come on, you're in an elimination series here. That is just sloppy.
Maybe a little bit of nerves and maybe a first blood. Malik, is he going to die to this last hit? He's got a Fairy Fire, so he's not going to die here. He's going to pop it and stay alive. Will not be giving away first blood, but is going to be running deep into his stores of regen and trying to get himself back up to full HP so he could play this lane.
I mean, that's
you already see Mar handing it over.
3 runes, the entirety of Mars' HP, and a D-ward for Dyrachyo off a mid-obs that there is no way he had any business getting there. That is a lot of extra gold to go straight into lanes here for Gaimin. They have to be very happy with this one. These are the kind of early deficits that can sometimes just skew games incredibly right off the bat. Like all of a sudden you're going in this lane with a massive advantage safe lane. You go into this off lane with extra gold for Ace. He's going to get to a ring sooner. Not the sort of lead you want to give this team, which has been dominant in lanes the whole season, especially when this last pick, Queen of Pain, was kind of designed to shut down the Wind Ranger on the lane. You're giving Quinn a much faster bottle here. And he will gladly take it as he's looking to bounce back in this series.
Another pullback here on to Malik. Dyrachyo fighting and is going to force a TP out of Malik off the spin. But again, Malik out of regen had to ferry himself a salve.
This is very expensive. It is really hurting his early net worth on this lane despite trying to man it for the CS. And he's going to buy another set of regen. It's just so much consumable gold already gone for the Mars at the 130 mark. This is a really nice start to the safe lane by Gaimin, as long as they don't feed away the kill. That's some of the risk. Like, Malik did have that salve out, so you get back up full. There's some potential you can get aggressive at the level 2 or 3 here. As long as you don't feed that away, you will win the regen war over time, especially with healing ward to push it over the edge. I think Gaimin already pretty satisfied with how his very early game is going. However, Quest have shown their own set of lane dominance here, and some of their lanes are pretty strong. I kind of expect their mid and safe lane to be pretty cruising for most of this laning phase. I don't think Gaimin are going to be able to pressure the Terrorblade in terms of kills, though they may be able to really hurt his CS over the long run, as it is a Rubik Underlord lane. And something Quest will have to think about. What do you do about the Atrophy Aura plus the Fade Bolt damage reduction on what is basically a single physical carry lineup?
Yeah, and a hero that has incredibly high base damages are usually reliant on that base damage. Yeah, there are definitely a lot of answers here for Gaimin Gladiators. They also have the Juggernaut into the Terrorblade, which can be really rough. TA2000, I mean, we heard he was very confident about this matchup. He felt like he could carry it. This is going to be the ultimate test of that. And if he loses this game, is that confidence then going to affect him for the rest of the series, that blow?
Perhaps. Anything can deal the final blow here, as you'd have no wiggle room. I was thinking they were going to go for the Faceless Void, to be honest, because they had this Phoenix set up with it. I think that hero scales pretty well versus the Jug Underlord when you get to the Ultra late. Maybe they felt like they were going to be too far behind by the time they get there. Terrorblade gives you a lot faster pace. You can also reflect the Underlord, kind of fight the Jug in the mid game before Jug gets 5 or 6 slots. Then that matchup shifts for sure. Until then, though, I think you're pretty happy. And, you know, obviously it's a confidence thing, too. Like, they were debating carries for TA2000 here. I guess he was debating them for himself as Omer will scoot out of that field.
Nice play by Malik pulling the creep wave over. So after he lost all that regen, they did manage to get the creep equilibrium to their favor, and now don't have to worry as much about the potential of a bunch of harassment into a glimpse pullback and spin kill.
They really have honestly brought this soft lane back better than I thought they were going to be able to. Like, you're looking at the CS here. It's almost as if the early portion of that first minute didn't happen.
Yeah.
Which is impressive versus a very strong lane team that got a pretty decent advantage off those runes. They're just wearing through the regen here. Another field will not latch on Omer as he uses his last leap to escape the clutch of Celery, but that's all of Celery's mana here. You got nothing left outside of that Lotus, which you don't really want to pop the Lotus on the support a lot of times. You don't have to.
Well, he immediately pops it. Drops his branches into his backpack and consumes it. He's like, no,
I mean, I guess
Theracho, you've got your own regen.
Yeah, he's got a full stick on Theracho, so he doesn't need it here. Look at this wave going into Pollock. He is really happy with this lane setup. Just very nice gameplay, baiting out some spells on the side. Is going to win them a huge clump of creeps here as the Mars will clean it all up.
And the Mars lead, like if you have a successful lane on the Mars in the Juggernaut matchup, you get those higher levels of Bulwark. That can be really fantastic for tanking up the Omni Slash for your team.
It's a big spell this game. Bulwark can definitely do a lot versus the Wind Ranger and the Juggernaut here, particularly in protecting your cores. Also, you have that egg combo. There's not a lot that reliably kills the egg here for Gaimin outside of the Jug manning up during a spin. And that is something Quest are going to have to think about. As much as you can bulwark everything else, there's nothing to interrupt Juggernaut spin this game.
Right.
It's guaranteed for Theracho, and that means he can almost always guarantee mana for this egg. I wonder if it'll like skew his build in some earlier attack speed or something, just to maybe help out with that fight. I don't really know what it would be in this meta. There used to be like a Mjolnir build on Juggernaut, but we haven't really seen it.
Sure.
I wonder where that went. I mean, I know Battle Fury is just mad efficient with the Ancient clearing and all of that. I do think Mjolnir sometimes on these Agi carries is still pretty viable.
Yeah, in a matchup against high armor hero like Terrorblade and the extra attack speed bonus that you're talking about could be effective. Yeah, I mean, if there is a game that you can grab it, this might be one of them.
Something interesting. We'll see if he considers it, though I kind of know he won't know.
Yeah, Theracho does tend to stick to his builds.
I mean, for good reason this event, right? He has had the weight of a lot of these games on his back, so whatever he is confident in winning the late game fights with, I'm confident in him to make the correct decision.
They're going to try down, run down Noob. The hero's going to miss, and that is going to result in Noob's death. And maybe they can even get Omar here, though he does have plenty of lead charges. He's out. First blood claimed by Quinn, though.
Just an awkward blink, maybe looking for this 6-minute rune. Doesn't even end up spawning on that side as Tofu will find a shield rune. Not what you're looking for in this Queen Wind Ranger matchup, and also 0 points Shadow Strike. Kind of giving this Wind Ranger a lot of free breathing room in this matchup.
Arrow's gonna come out, nails it.
Nice little pickup.
Quest with a strong response. It's good to be able to see that, because if you're gonna lose that mid lane, let Quinn start getting some momentum, you gotta make sure you're winning your side lanes.
This game might come down to how much Omar and Cowrie can get done on some of their signature heroes here. Definitely been go-tos for this entire tournament.
Two-man support rotation from Quest, trying to steal away the Wisdom Rune. We're gonna have a big fight here. Omar, he's gonna throw out the arrow. Tofu dodged it, throws away Cowrie, and gets the Wisdom Rune away from them. Beautiful stuff. Now they're locked inside the kinetic field, and Cowrie and Omar are both in a sticky situation. Celery's going to try and get the kill onto Cowrie, but that glimpse is going to be quite enough damage. Celery's actually quite low, and Ace, having walked away from this engagement with his supports, may have still needed his impact in this fight.
Right, they both have some extra Fairy Fire and Lotuses. Everybody's just going to walk away. Look at that. Nice little pacifist game of Dota 2. We can all do well if we hold hands and sing together.
No.
Okay.
Man, top 3 CS all across the board for Quest. Doesn't translate necessarily into the net worth lead thanks to First Blood and such, but still very impressive the way they were able to bounce back after a rough start there in the 0-minute rune spawns.
Especially this safe lane, man. You're looking at that CS and net worth total. T2000 opened a 30 CS gap on an Ace Underlord. This is pretty much unheard of, right? Normally the execution here is formidable from the side of Gaimin in terms of abusing this hero on the lane in the CS department, getting to a fast Vanguard. Ace is still looking for that defensive item, and Quest are going to try and arrow him a third time. They're just going to bring a Sonic Wave in to finish him off. This is a lot of abuse on an Underlord who is having a very rough early game, all things said and done. Doubled up by the Terrorblade here.
Do you think this is a trend?
Ooh, this
I am seeing now
nasty.
that all of these Western European teams are attacking Ace heavily in the first 10 minutes of the game.
For sure.
They're not letting have the free game that he very often has had throughout the year.
The Wind Ranger ult on Noob. Does he blink in a good direction this time? Does have an Arcane Rune to back it up, so he will be good. I'm still curious about this 0 Shadow Strike build versus the Wind Ranger. Maybe just playing for the skirmishes and runes more than the matchup, but then I question why they picked it. There's definitely been some prioritization on Ace more than a lot of other players, as I guess mid was dead even, all things considered, outside of that solo kill. I think it starts in the draft too. I think teams are a lot more aware of how important Ace is to the overall structure of what Gaimin wants to do, and particularly how important his hero is to how much they ramp the game pace up, right? Yeah. The difference between Ace on these damage dealers versus the aura buyers versus like a Zoo Hero, it changes how Gaimin view their objective timings and what they're trying to get out of the game. So if you can pick one of those routes, put him in it, and then have answers to that, in theory, this team is a lot less intimidating, or at least you understand what they're doing. And I think it's something that more teams should have been aware of over the year, because Ace is really like the standout player on the squad. So if you
trying to get the spear off of the Omni Slash, doesn't quite latch, and as a result, Malik is going to be pulled back to his doom. Quinn shows up just in time to take the last hit. 2-2 now as we approach the 10-minute mark.
This might be one of those games where Quinn, finding some footing in this tournament, is going to have to carry the team through the mid game, because the other two cores not having nearly as good a performance as we saw yesterday. I mean, Dyrachio's still having an okay game. I just think that lane could have gone a lot better for Gaimin.
Again, really fast reactions there from Tofu. Gets him out and away and keeps their advantage for Gaimin Gladiators and what they're looking for here. But it's Quest to have the advantage off of the entire laning phase. 2,000 net worth lead. Ace clearly struggling on net worth, is far behind anybody else in this game. There's almost 1,000 net worth behind the opposing offlaner, Malik, who did a much better job for himself being able to find farm.
Very impressive side laning from Quest this game. They have done extremely well given the start. We approach the 11-minute mark as Gaimin are looking for a gank with their Wind Ranger. I mean, this is pretty much the hero you're going to have to play through to make space for these other two cores to catch up. The Underlord's going to be back to farming Ancients and cleaning up waves, as a good Underlord will do here. Just going to get matched by some of the Terrorblade illusions on the map. And if you're Quest, you do have to be careful about taking these aggressive fights, because I don't think your lineup is that good at going in deep against Gaimin. The Glimpse will punish you. The Rubik Underlord are really good at just standing their ground, turning spells and AoE back against you. And your follow-up is kind of an arrow off a spear. That's it, right? I don't think you can go in and aggressively use an egg. So this game might be a bit slower for Quest, despite doing some magic on the lanes here, which I guess has also been their playstyle for most of the tournament. T2000 taking the gate behind Dyrachio.
Oh, this could be interesting.
If you can land a stun.
He sneaks a spear out on him. No, it's daytime, so he's going to see him coming.
Oh, didn't
spear
latch.
Doesn't latch. Oh, the arrow almost got him, but Dyrachio last second managed to dodge that one. And he keeps his spin up, so they can easily take this fight, especially if Quinn can get a free pick off on Omar, but he doesn't want to get that close to the Mars. A power shot is not going to do it. Omar still has some wand charges to fight through. They also have the bounty rune that's going to spawn, which Quinn would love to refill his bottle while he's here.
Prize is mine.
Did not get the conversion on this tier 1, however, with that Terrorblade rotation.
Went for the power rune instead. It's not there, so it's going to be Noob getting the bounty rune refill, but a double damage hit top for Quinn. That's a massive pickup.
Very nice rune. I'd be tempted to just use it on the tower mid here. It doesn't have ult, however. Might dissuade him as Dyrachio, just have to bail out of bottom. So that will automatically secure this tier 1 for Quest off the Terrorblade's gate movement. This is a setup we've seen from Quest a lot. It is sit the Phoenix top.
Yep.
And they'll find a good pick off on Celery. And just pump the levels into Cowrie. This is something not a lot of teams have punished, and Gaimin do not want to let them get away with this. They will commit.
He does have Supernova, and he's behind his tower, so it's not the easiest go anymore for Gaimin Gladiators. And if this Phoenix stays alive, he slows down the push and allows Quest to be able to hold a tower advantage.
This is a very good map setup for Quest right now. Gaimin need to strike in one of these two lanes, either mid or top. It'll be top with the DD Focus Fire back off cooldown. This is the correct move. Punish this Phoenix for being greedy here. You can defend your tier 1 at the same time. This is normally where I'd say it's Ace's job, but doesn't want to TP in here yet. It's just going to be supports looking for a glimpse.
No glimpse up in time. Also, not level 7, so don't have the maxed out glimpse range, so it's a little difficult against these highly mobile heroes like Mirana and Queen of Pain.
I mean, this is a tower you know T2000 is thinking about. If I can get a good fight around mid and come in with meta and clean this up, then my game is just tremendous, as Dyrachio is struggling against some lizards here. Whew. 10 HP, my friend.
Really relying on the regen of Cornucopia.
This is where you just don't want to give your Reddit haters more ammo.
It's true.
Chill, man.
Yeah, he's already pushed back on them in a big way with the way he's carried some series. He'll clear it out, getting closer to his Battle Fury. Because they have a carry that is not going to be nearly as active, expect Gaimin Gladiators to be sitting back. Omar, ooh, that was a leap in the wrong direction.
I think the field helped him there. I don't know if that's where he wanted to be leaving.
Yeah.
And regen into Quinn's bottle, as he will just gobble up all the power in this game. Noob is pretty sad he's not getting any control out of this. The 0-4 build did not really work in terms of this early game, though I guess it's helped him stay alive and rotate. It's also increased his farm rate. The Queen of Pain is finding a decent amount of gold out of just neutral camps and waves here, almost 100 CS. So that part is working out for Noob. Maybe the idea is, I don't need as much lane advantage, I'm just going to scale like a beast.
Can they do the damage fast enough here? Cowrie gonna try and get out, but it's the power shot that adds the extra bit of damage required. Gaimin Gladiators show up in force now to even out the towers.
5 heroes for Cowrie. This is a bit of an overcommittal. Still, it's a move that you kind of had to make it at some point to get this tier 1 down and open up the space. Still, I go back to this tier 1 mid for Gaming. Are you going to defend this with your Underlord? If you don't, you lose a pretty good fight out of Ace. He went bottom here. Does have a gate up.
TPing in now.
Radiant structures are
Force the good. I mean, this is the connection that TA2000 wants. This has been his motto with the Terrorblade the whole tournament. He actively participates in all these tier 1 pushes. He wants the fight, he wants the kills out of it, the extra golden XP acceleration. This will just be a clean tier 1.
Go for the deny, and he gets it. Quinn takes the tower bounty away from Quest, but they do not defend that structure. That does mean more map control for Quest. They're going to be able to play deeply into the Radiant jungle now.
I mean, Quest, you got to think about these last hits, man. See, this is why I'm telling you. That's why I take the last hit on support. Because these cores are just lazy about it, man. They don't care. And then you're getting towers. I'm going to take that shit.
You do wonder at some point in time, like, people maybe got to start, you know, when you both attack a range creep at the same time to try and get the last hit or the deny, I feel like you should start doing that with these tower last hits.
If you know there's any heroes with deny capability, yes, I think you should. Losing all that tower gold vastly outweighs getting it on one hero.
Yeah.
It'll cost them some momentum. I also think that deny is important because, it's the fight that TA2000 came to make sure you can man up for that tower. It's like, you know, you're insulting him in the time that he dedicated for you.
You're wasting my time, trash.
Pretty much.
Supernova catching Quinn with the combo of the arena. This is going to be a combo that is always going to be hard for the Wind Ranger to deal with, but somehow he's still alive. The final God's Rebuke wasn't in time. An arrow, it's a long shot. Quinn is making it out with that
Another spear. He has to throw it blind.
Oh, he's not going to throw it. He didn't know that Quinn was just going to be TPing out. Static Storm in the mid lane. Close call, but Noob, is he out of range?
Blink.
He's good.
I thought Tofu was maybe going to go for that, but does not have the capability to steal another spell off the blink. Just a little missed execution from Quest there on the lockdown for the Wind Ranger. I mean, another pretty good power rune for Quinn. He has continued his dominance in the river, and it has definitely paid off for him in all these engagements. So map control-wise, if you're Quest, if you can start taking some runes away from the Wind Ranger here, it's going to make your life easier. That should have been a kill that connected. Gaming get away with murder, and a continued perfect game for their mid as Quinn 4-0-0. He's ramping up here. You let him get to this Gleipnir, it's going to be pretty debilitating in the fight. You're not going to have that good a defensive capability on it. I mean, I guess you'll have a Manta and a BKB done between the Queen and the Terrorblade. The damage is going to be pretty significant, though. If you ever connect this Focus Fire on a big core target, you're going to be really happy.
At the same time, those cores are about to pick up some big items. They're going for that same window that you've talked about before, the triple BKB that Quest likes to go for. Here it's a Scotty double BKB, but the effect is still very likely to be the same, which is overwhelming amount of team fight and capability for Quest in this one window of time.
And this is also a lineup from Gaimin that, in theory, is susceptible to some early spell immunity. It is one of the ways you can just bypass a lot of the Underlord, disrupt their team fight in the early phases of the game. But what's the damage that's coming out? It's a Focus Fire and it's an Omni Slash. If you can deal with those two, you should be very confident taking the fight at that point, despite the auras starting to come out for Ace. That is also something that Quest can think about as this game develops more. Like, do you just itemize for some single target control, some Lincoln Spheres, some Lotus Orbs, some Aeon Discs? This game goes really late. If you can't guarantee an Omni Slash or a Focus Fire that easily, what are you doing in this fight if you're gaming?
Yeah.
This is a very similar lineup to that one where Daracho had to carry it with the Morphlane, if you remember.
Yep.
That was a similar, you know, Underlord, or it was like a Darkseer Disruptor lineup that was very magic damage dependent with the Pango mid. I get a similar vibe, not as dependent, but they're going to run into similar issues with the BKB timings here if Quest can align it all.
Flips it back in with the Underlord coming in, but Malik has already shown up. He missed the God's Rebuke, but he can still play to defend Noob in this fight.
Stolen Arena.
Managed to get 2. Tofu's going to respond with his own Arena, and it's going to be a mess, but they have the Supernova. That is going to give Quest the advantage here in this fight. They are able to get away from the Supernova explosion. Noob trying to chase after them with TA-2000 in tow. An arrow. Ace sees it coming.
I mean, that was your Scotty completed on the Terrorblade. If he got in there with meta, he was going to wreck some kids. Stolen Arena will create the gap that allows Gaimin to get out of that engagement.
Now, there's the BKB from the Queen of Pain. Malik's BKB is going to be much later, though. So I do wonder if Quest is going to just choose to try and make their move now.
I think they want to fight into Roshan here in the next 3 to 4 minutes. Like, especially when their ults come off cooldown. There's just no reason to wait longer in this game because the Jug is eventually going to catch up here and he's going to be a beast in the fight. He's going to limit your Ike potential. He's going to limit your Terrorblade's potential. Nice shield rune steal, denying power runes from this Wind Ranger.
Here's that bulwark. Great spear. Back better spear with Omar nearby, able to chain it with the arrow. It's still not enough though.
No Sonic Wave.
He's going to jump for it, try and get another Scream out, but it's not nearly enough. Quinn is just too tanky off of Strength Treads, Rod of Atos. Again, some of the early attempted kills on him not working means that he has a lot more farm. He's a lot tankier when you do finally connect.
Might be the tankiest hero in the game right now, to be honest.
Yeah.
This is a new Frontiers Wind Ranger right here. Nothing of the old. Slacks and shambles. So we'll push towards the Gleipnir, done in 20 gold.
Yeah, he's going to get it off of this wave easily.
This is another reason the BKBs are really valuable for Quest here. Or like even just a Manta on the Terrorblade. They will go for triple BKB here, but for the Terrorblade Manta. So if you get all that up, you are limiting a lot of the Wind Ranger's impact in the team fight and even her damage through the focus fire a bit. And I think it's a reason Gaimin kind of want to up the pace if they can. At least in terms of pickoffs. Maybe they don't want the straight 5-on-5 yet. They can get a good core pickoff or 2 into the Roshan. That's going to be the perfect map setup for them.
Sure, and if they take away that Roshan, then that delays the big quest timing even further, gives you more opportunity for the Battle Fury of Dyrachyo to catch up, as he is catching up. He went from like 4th in that network chart. He's now 2nd, far above Noob, and closing in on the farm of TA-2000.
Oh, this ward's super good.
It's going to help. Arrow. Ooh, man. Great reactions from Gaimin Gladiators to these arrows attempted without a setup stun. They're going to catch Tofu here. Tofu trying to get off whatever spells he can. Supernova inside of the arena. They wipe him out with the Sonic Wave, too. That was heavy commitment for just a Rubik.
Yeah,
Dyrachyo feels like this is a fight they can take.
No, maybe not. He took a couple of hits there. Decided against it.
SNY Juggernaut Ward too, so definitely not a great one anymore.
He's just trying to tank up here. Manta would have probably felt good this game versus the Fire Spirits, the Shadow Strike, getting some extra illusions on the map to deal with the Terrorblade's pressure. Instead, Dyrachyo just feels like he needs to have a higher HP pool to enter these fights. Another good fight start by Quest here. I mean, you'll take the Rubik on these jumps. He's kind of annoying in these fights long term. And this is also that Crimson Pipe fight for Ace that Gaimin cannot take, even with a pretty decent Static Storm. Still just showing the threat that this Terrorblade is right now. Very hard to engage TA-2000 with how much HP he has on top of this Scotty, plus that level 15 talent. I don't know if you're bursting this guy without a Focus Fire Omni Slash. Yeah. Now, the one thing Gaimin have going for him is this aura advantage right now. Like, you're trying to line this up ahead of the triple BKB coming out. And if you can find that big core pickoff near the Roche pit, is this enough to open it up? Probably not without the Focus Fire. That's the downside. You need the Focus Fire to get the pickoff. You probably also need it to do the Roche. Puts you in a weird situation right now. Quest are not getting punished for these big core losses on the map.
I was thinking about it, I do actually really like the butterfly choice of Dyrachyo and just tanking up, because I feel like if he can get that butterfly, oh, he's changing his build now. I was thinking if he gets that butterfly and he just can't get bursted in fights, he gets his level 20 talent, he's always going to be able to close the gap with the Terrorblade and then put that lifesteal to work, which is normally, lifesteal's not super effective against these very high armor heroes, but because Juggernaut's bugged out, lifesteal ignores that. then he can actually just kind of like sit on the Terrorblade and fight him the entire time. And I'm not sure if Terrorblade is actually ever going to do enough damage through a Butterfly and that free lifesteal he gets.
I mean, this build with the Silver Edge is more targeted towards the Mars.
Yeah, it is.
Probably the supports than the Terrorblade and the Queen of Pain here. It's interesting what Gaimin are prioritizing. Just trying to eliminate the team fight, maybe kill the Terrorblade last, unless the opportunity to burst and presents itself. I mean, you're all going to have to do it through a max Sunray here, plus that Bulwark if you don't take out everybody else here from Quest. Heroes will slap each other mid. Another Moonlight Shadow, vision advantage. Quest trying to abuse it and catch this Wind Ranger. Quinn has put himself in a corner.
Yeah, why did he do that? He doesn't have the BKB, but he managed to get away from that Wind Ranger. Created enough time that it looks like with Dirachu here with the Omni Slash, they can push back against Quest, do enough damage that they have to retreat. You can see Noob's getting out, Mount to be caught, so they do manage to kill 2 off of that one. Quinn, I guess going back there, created just enough time, and now they've gotten 2 hero pickoffs near the Roshan pit once again.
Yeah, this should be Roshan time. You go in with that Juggernaut and the Healing Ward. The overall 5-man utility right now for Gaimin is preventing Quest from taking down these big targets. Crimson, Pipe, Atrophy Aura, all maxed on top of that Healing Ward. Everybody feeling great in these engagements, and it's another fight where TA2000 just doesn't even get to play Dota. He's not there. He can't commit after the initial rally of spells are thrown out. The BKB timings between the 3 cores did not align in this game, and they're unable to get a single fight out of it to contest that Roshan. Not that they were in a better position to do that. The one thing they have going for them is the net worth on the Phoenix. Kaori has done what he does on this hero and is rushing a Hex for what feels like the 4th game in a row. I guess he believes this item build is going to work no matter what. They'll give him some extra lockdown versus the Wind Ranger that has been very problematic. Also, his levels still very valuable here. 4-point Sunray, 2 points already in the egg. That tip, I guess, is for being AFK.
I mean, they got the Scotty BKB timing, and they haven't done anything with it. Gaimin Gladiators, I'm sure, feel very good about the way the game has gone in the last 5 minutes. There was supposed to be a opportunity for Quest to be able to clash, take 5-on-5s, and win those. Instead, the first clash that they actually got into, they couldn't keep it going and just backed away, losing 2 and losing Roche. Now you fighting into an Aegis makes things even harder. And Dirachi is going to be able to confidently go for an assassin-type build where he goes Silver Edge into Aghanim Scepter, and he'll just jump on the Phoenix at the start, or the Quap at the start, or break the Mars and Omni Slash him, and you're going to be dealing with a 4 versus 5 potentially.
This is where that carry pick for Quest was very important in terms of how they wanted this game to progress. Because if you end up in this situation, which I feel like a lot of the Quest games do, sometimes you can fall back on TA2000's hero to carry you in the late game. That's where something like a Faceless Void would be pretty scary for Gaimin in this position, because at some point it just becomes terrifying in the fight with the guaranteed lockdown versus no save. Here you're playing up against this Terrorblade. Like, you can itemize against the Terrorblade. You can deal with his damage in the late game with this Underlord. You can propose a threat in the Juggernaut that's gonna force some clutch utility out of Quest. It doesn't create the same pressure. Now, maybe TA2000 has faith in this Terrorblade to do the things that, you know, in my mind, the Faceless Void would do more reliably, which is just straight up carry this late game. Maybe the Queen of Pain is there to help that on top of this Max Sunray. You have some decent scaling options.
Yeah, you have talked a lot about this Queen of Pain being a pretty terrifying hero in the late game. Noob did go for a more farming build with the 044 pickup, and he is keeping pace with the Wind Ranger. Do you think he's actually going to be that big of a factor if we do end up going another 20-25 minutes?
I mean, his hero is always a factor with the Axe. Like, it will do a serious amount of damage in the fight. The AoEs are going to be really annoying, especially if you can start the fight on the backline and force the cores to chase you. The issue right now is, can the Queen of Pain just jump into the fight versus this Wind Ranger?
Gonna jump ace. The Sunray is really gonna help burn him down quickly. Combine that with the Terrorblade damage, and they have a kill. Now, it was a heavy commitment. They used 2 ultimates for it, basically 3, because Meta was used for it as well.
They still have triple BKB up.
That's true. Malik jumps straight into this one. Immediately going to be Omni Slash. Bob's BKB, and he soaks up the Omni Slash. No problem. Half health, not a big deal. Get off the healing ward for Dyrachyo. Noob jumps in and kills it immediately. He may have to use his BKB, but it was a big win being able to take away that sustain option for Gaimin Gladiators. Malik barely able to get out, but from the other side, Quinn's going to join in. A Gladiator, not quite enough. The scythe comes in from Calorie, denies Quinn the opportunity to get a kill.
That's an Arcane Rune Wind Ranger. Quinn is not happy about being unable to contribute to this fight from a really good position in the back.
Oh, he's going to have vision of him. If he goes up, he may still be able to snipe him.
Yeah, he wants him. This
Malik is low, though. A power shot's not going to do it by itself. He needs to hit the Gladiator, then the power shot, then maybe another hit. Shackle shot doesn't land. A long-range shot. That's the tier 3 item for you.
Enchanted Quiver, so good on these range burst heroes. Malik cannot escape the power of Arcane Rune Wind Run here. Quinn eventually gets his revenge. It took a while. It will get him to the other side of the map, so I don't know if he's too sad about it. A really nice smoke down mid for Quest that I'm surprised it connected that well on Ace. Usually his read of these things is pretty damn good. We see Mini Terrorblade there as well, by the way.
Yeah, Rubik stole that one.
This is just really clutch play by Quest to get Malik out of here in the first place. And Hex already proving invaluable here as Cowrie has made this build his own. But you cannot escape the power of the Wind Ranger.
Gaimin Gladiators taking that momentum with no Mars and no Supernova straight to the tier 3 of the top lane. 200 health left. They do have to be careful, though. Pushing high ground against an Aghanim Scepter Queen of Pain is always difficult. You do leave yourself in a position to be whittled down to a point that Quest will gladly take any fight.
You also have to be worried about getting hexed into a spear back. Like, Dyrachyo can't aggressively siege this easily. Normally you'd be able to dodge the spear with spin. It's just if you swoop in and hex him, I mean, then what are you doing?
Yeah, that's
and
good.
You don't have a save in this lineup outside of the Rubik Shard lift, which can come through clutch here for Tofu as he got it off the Tormentor earlier.
Passes over the bottle to TA2000. He picks up a double damage, but Gaimin Gladiators with their smoke up had some information here. Moonlight Shadow's going to be used. Noob, oh, it goes off just in time. Doesn't get hit by the Gladiator, but will get hit by a telekinesis. Setting up the Omni Slash, and he gets picked off. Once again, Gaimin Gladiators get a numbers advantage. And we'll start pushing towards Quest side of the map.
That's a 1,000 gold kill as well. Little streak off of the noob Queen of Pain here. This game really is just coming down to TA2000, man. You're gonna have some decent spells and utility to fight around, but the damage is just gonna be all on him, it feels like. Gearing up for it. I mean, he has double damage currently going into Nullifier. The fact he has to buy the Nullifier on Terrorblade, though, I don't think feels great here.
Yeah, you'd much rather like your Mars to be able to pick it up, right?
Like, because he's going to go in and he's going to guarantee be able to nullify someone through, you know, remove some of these orbs from the Underlord, deal with the Wind Run on the Wind Ranger, and then set up the damage for the TA2000 Terrorblade, who would probably rather have a Daedalus or MKB or Silver Edge in that slot. Instead, he just feels pressure to get it himself here, and it feels okay if you can connect with it. You just don't have a blink. You don't have a mobility item. It might be hard to get in close. This is where you have to make sure your smokes are on point, your jumps are on point, and you pick the right target, because you're probably going to have one opportunity to burst a big core at the start of the fight off the Hex spear chain, and then you're going to have to play around this egg and kind of reset a bit.
Yeah, this Hex actually sets up. I think that entire idea is impossible without the Hex, but here it shows itself. Gets a pick off on Dyrachyo. Hex spear, arena, damage from the meta Terrorblade.
Another quick smoke on the mid lane. Gaimin are just not ready for it. This could be a full Rax here. How much does TA2000 want to push it? And the telekinesis save cannot bring you out of that spear arena, as he tried another Hex landing on another big target.
On Ace. He's going to be torn apart here. The telekinesis throwing him a bit of distance away.
No force snap.
But TA2000 just keeps going with that BKB.
Malik in pretty deep. He's probably going to exchange his life for this.
That's right. Keep him alive for as long as possible with some heals, but the Terrorblade is going to work on the tier 3. Pulled back in, another Nullifier, this time put it on to Quinn, but he pops his BKB and is okay. Gets the kill on the support. New buyback immediately.
As TA2000 is unsure where to go right now. He could not commit for the Wind Ranger and could not commit for the buildings, and we'll get neither here, as Gaimin successfully defend better than I thought they would. So Wind Ranger is still a massive nuisance for their lineup to commit in deep. Level 20 now for Quinn. So he will have his choice of talents.
That was pretty unfortunate. Celery really tried hard with the instant buyback to punish Noob for going in so deep. Couldn't get a glimpse on anybody as Quest retreated outside of the base.
If you let this Wind Ranger get to 25 here, it feels like you're in trouble.
Yeah. non-dispellable win run with an Ag
been
Scepter.
a massive problem this game, and it's a very good matchup versus the Terrorblade. There's not much to protect him. There's not much lockdown they can really throw on this Wind Ranger now that he has the Ags. You're just not going to see him.
Just feels impossible for Queen of Pain to have the same kind of output. The same kind of impact in these team fights.
He needs armor. They just need more armor or tankiness. More utility, something to cut out this Wind Ranger ult. If you can get through the focus fire, then Quinn's not a big threat. Just every focus fire connection has resulted in a big core kill. And it looks like it'll be Shiva's for Noob, but he's also debating another Hex. Quest are really prioritizing the lockdown here over the defensive capability, which means you have to start fights. You need to use this Moonlight Shadow, get in there, start on the big cores. They have been able to find it around mid lane. They've had troubles finding it elsewhere on the map, particularly in going into that Roche.
Yeah.
And that'll be an Ag Scepter finish for Dyrachyo. Swift Slash online with that level 20 talent. This Juggernaut is getting to the late game here, becoming a massive threat. Pick your poison. You want to start on this Jug? You want to start on the Wind Ranger? And you have to keep in mind this Telekinesis save. Next Roshan, pivotal for both teams trying to push high ground here.
It's going to be a late one too, so there's going to be a lot of posturing around a pit waiting for a Roshan to spawn that is going to take quite some time to arrive. Smoke and off they go. 35-minute mark approaching, so teams are going to have to start setting up for the nighttime Roshan, the top part. But Quest has really not been leaving the base too much. It almost seems like they're willing to give up
look at this war.
their ground on Roshan if they can get the pick and take the lane of barracks.
Quest are looking for what has worked for them all game, which are these picks around the mid lane. Ace is not going to bite that time. You also have to keep in mind the shield rune on Noob right now. This is a big rune for the fight because a lot of it has been decided by Quinn going in and focus firing this Queen of Pain. Suddenly you have double the HP. Might catch you off guard and buy enough time for you to come in with a Nullifier, a Spear, a Hex, something to this regard.
I mean, they have to know that Gaimin Gladiators is at the Roshan pit, right?
Yes,
they haven't seen a hero for so long. What, they could have just lost Roshan this entire time.
I think that's why TA2000 is just pushing it right here, right? You need to see something, you need to force a reaction on a Gaimin or at least collect in the meantime. And he will get those TPs back here. This is still a decent area for Quest to fight around that high ground ward.
Nice shackle
force
shot.
It.
Big burst damage on these slash. Isn't going to be enough. TA2000 needs the field. Gets off the BKB. Gets off the Sunder onto Ace. A big turnaround from Quest. But can he fight through Dyrachyo on a second life? They're going to be able to blow up Ace.
Focus fire,
still
man.
stuck in this focus fire. Noob, he's going to be left without his carry and Quest. Oh no. A massive DC in the middle of a very important team fight. Ultra Grief is right, Celery.
That just feels ultra bad here.
Watch that one again, TA2000. The fact that he got off the Sunder was so important, but they still could not deal with the focus fire of Quinn.
He's just running in here BKB. There is absolutely nothing going into this Wind Ranger. Quinn has slain Quest's hopes and dreams here in this high ground offense. And honestly, this pause is pretty damn bad for Quest. However, I think the fight is mostly decided here, right? Because what is stopping Quinn from all-in your Terrorblade?
Yeah, he's definitely getting that Terrorblade kill. They might just get the noob kill on top of that.
I mean, it's,
you have learned
it's very hard to know what happens in these situations. I can't help but also just feel like this fight was looking difficult no matter what. We will never know. Quest will never know.
Yeah, that was unfortunate, Noob. That DC happened during his BKB duration. Now he's going to come back and he's going to be stuck in the pit.
Yeah, this feels pretty bad for Noob. I mean, there's still a Hex and Egg up on Cowrie that he wasn't able to get off. There's a Moonlight Shadow here that wasn't able to get off. A lot of these little things can change these fights. Maybe keep your Terrorblade alive for a second or two longer, and you get another kill. It changes the course of the game. It's definitely not a fight where Quest would have just won here, but it is a fight where maybe it would have gone a lot better for them. We'll see how merciful Gaimin is. My guess is not very merciful.
No, not in a matchup like this, man. Not in a matchup where if you win, you already get yourself an extra $300,000 and an opportunity to push for even more. So we're going to have a quick little break here as the admins figure out what we're going to be doing. and making sure that we don't get...
Quinn says, I don't know what the heck that was.
What the heck?
That's some good old southern accent right there. I don't know what the heck that was, but it was insanity right there. Oh, time to unpause and I'm going to kill your ass. See you later, boys.
Yeah.
Apparently the sunder off the Terrorblade caused the crash, is what they're saying.
No, I think they crashed. Well, I think they crashed after that Sunder, but they felt like, oh, we just hit this clutch Sunder. Like, the fight should have been better for us, but I think we saw it play out the fact that there was nothing they could do to defend the Terrorblade against this focus fight.
I mean, Quest are arguing they should win. This is pretty interesting. They're like arguing how the fight should go in text.
Yeah.
Basically, Noob is saying the Sunder full TV'd, and then Duracho's saying, yeah, but he's shackled. And then Noob says, yeah, but we have Hex Sunray. And TA2000 saying, yeah, I'll be full HP with BKB, no Omni. Duracho says no.
Give Phoenix Axe, put him in egg. I mean, they legitimately, they would have been able to keep the Terrorblade alive for a little bit longer, but he was still going to die.
They're arguing something about a BKB. I don't really understand. Whose BKB are they? Did somebody's BKB like glitch out or something? They keep saying he had full BKB, but I'm looking at these BKBs and they are all used.
I think Noob's BKB, I think when they crashed, they still had BKB on the Terrorblade that was used.
Very, very weird. Huh.
It is pretty interesting, just like, these are the best players in the world, right? And they're arguing about what would happen in a fight in the context of like what spells are going off and such, and they see very different outcomes. Of course, they both see outcomes that are favorable to themselves, and that's natural, but It does go to show like how complex these team fights are. And
yeah, so I mean,
you can sometimes just have the wrong read of what happens.
This BKB goes off.
Yeah, the BKB goes off. They lay into the Underlord for a while. This is got to be where the disconnect happens or something. So these few seconds is what we're talking about here. And again, I think the biggest thing is the fact that Noob, he could have gotten out.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like Noob is maybe the only one that got screwed here. Because even if you get an egg or Hex off, again, the Terrorblade is already shackled and dead. I mean, I don't know. We can argue in circles forever, right? This is just a very unfortunate circumstance for Quest because, again, you just don't know what they could have executed in that minute. You don't know how this fight would have gone. It is a factor of life, that's how I'll put it. And it appears that the gods who want gaming to not be eliminated from Dota are still well and alive and kicking. Conspiracy theory time.
And the best part about it, like, this fight is so impactful because if Quest managed to get through it okay, let's say they lose their Terrorblade anyway, but Noob stays alive, maybe a couple of their other heroes get out, or they get an additional kill or something, then maybe they can still contest for Roshan. But the current situation is looking like Gaimin Gladiators is going to be able to run over and probably kill 2 or 3 heroes.
That's the part we don't like. That's the impactful part here is what happens after this.
Yes, the Terrorblade would die no matter what, but does this mean that they're going to win the fight so hard they can get Roshan? And off of that Roshan, what are they going to be able to accomplish?
Let's see what ultimately gets decided here.
Have you ever had a situation like this, Avery? Like a long pause and official?
I remember I played at a LAN and we played a game, and at the 10 or 15 minute mark, the server crashed and the game disappeared, and it was versus secret. And I had to go out in the hallway and discuss with Puppy what we should do.
Yeah.
You know how intimidating that is?
So it was just captain to captain? Or
yeah, it was just me, Puppy, and I think Cyborg Matt.
Oh, so he had an extra...
They were very...
It was not only Puppy, but he also had a +1.
Yeah, I think maybe Jack was there. I don't know.
Okay.
But... They were actually very nice about the situation. I mean, there wasn't much we could do. The game was gone. It was like a pretty close game, 15 minutes or so in the early game. I think we ultimately decided to we could load back in, and then we traded kills. They sacrificed somebody and we sacrificed somebody. Though mid one was not happy about that. Noob will actually get out.
They do manage to get the Sunray off in the turnaround. They're actually maybe going to be able to kill Duracho. Duracho's taken out. He dies.
What the hell just happened?
No way. They got the Supernova off, and what a turn. an expectation that Quest was going to be losing the fight, and how many heroes would they lose? Now, they're still going to get 2 heroes picked off, but trading that for the Juggernaut? I think you absolutely take that if you're Quest.
Fair play? What the hell just happened? How did he die?
Radiant's middle barracks are under attack.
Got
actually
up
have
the
that
side
much
supernova
damage?
plus the Sunray. Yeah, I mean, it's a lot. It's a lot of damage over time.
Okay, well, that ended significantly better for Quest than I thought it would. I don't even think they're too upset about that.
No, not at all. I mean, now it means Gaimin Gladiators can't do Roshan. They had to be able to have the Juggernaut to be able to do that, but now we go back to that scenario of, okay, Gaimin Gladiators don't defend well enough to be able to get more.
I don't think any of us were calculating. I guess that's why Quest were upset about it, because maybe they had time to think about it as well. This Juggernaut had no spin, no Swift Slash, no Omni Slash, so that is pretty much a guaranteed kill if you just line up the Hex into the stun with the Sunray Egg going off.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny how that pause benefited them too, because I'm not sure if Malik would have been willing to jump back in on like the 300 HP that he had. But because they were able to coordinate the fact, hey, we're going to be able to hit this scythe, we're going to chain stun up the Juggernaut and blow him up.
Well, that is how she goes, I suppose, as Gaimin are going to look for Omar up here.
Word for word, surrounding Omar. Gaimin Gladiators. They head to it.
Man, that felt like he respawned really fast. I guess T2000 also up here. It'll end up being Gaimin's Roche, it looks like.
Is that one pickoff really just enough to dissuade Quest from contesting Roshan?
We got a tier 1 in return. This feels like you can contest it here.
Yeah,
for
you've
Quest.
got Arena Supernova. Very surprised that Quest doesn't want to take this, but
they do. It was just very slow, this smoke.
I mean, maybe they want to catch them on the way out.
Backbite's different though, right? Because they already have this Aegis now on the Juggernaut. You have to burn through 2 of his lives. There's a cheese on the Wind Ranger with Lincoln's completed, by the way. This Wind Ranger's absolutely out of control. I think he is still the true carry in this game. Mindbreaker going to help put a lot of extra damage in as well.
That Mindbreaker adds so much.
You need an answer to Quinn right now, and it has not been there the entire game. You pretty much have to throw the Hex plus another Lincoln's Break plus this Nullifier on him, and you have to be able to see him.
Got Air Force to use the BKB, noob.
Got the Nullifier, got blocked by the Lincolns though. He's literally just 1v5ing here.
Moonlight Shadow trying to get away. Shackle Shot does land. Gaimin Gladiators are around, but Quinn doesn't have his BKB. They go straight for him on the arena. He eats the cheese, though. Still gets stuck inside the arena with the Supernova. About to explode. It's going to stun nobody. Not even the Juggernaut comes back for the Omni Slash in time. Now they're going to pull back Cowrie. He's going to be stuck. They leave him behind. The rest of Quest desperate to get out of here. Very much a lost engagement for them that is out of their hands, and now they go into a point where they don't have meta potentially for a high ground defense.
How much do you want to push it here if you're Gaimin? You use the cheese on the Wind Ranger in an Omni Slash. That's about it though. You still have Aegis on Dyrachyo, and you are still hunting with Quinn. He's looking for some core pickoffs. Focus fire back up.
This Aghanim Scepter, it's so good at being able to find the pickoffs in late game scenarios here. Spear not up in time. Malik, he'll die as well. Gaimin Gladiators now hitting the high ground against 3.
They're going to glyph and pull this wave. This is their last wave, so it's going to be backdoor. Terrorblade Illusions dealing with both of the lanes that we're pushing in.
Yeah.
In fact, going to create some nice objective pressure as well. This push is not going to feel good in the next 15 seconds for Gaimin here. I don't even know if they're going to get a Rax. I mean, I guess they can focus fire 1 here, and they'll get a lane for sure, it looks like. However, T2000 is getting a lot of farm on the map and pushing them back. They're going to have to go back to their side of the map afterwards, guaranteed.
Okay, they get through both the melee and the ranged barracks backdoor protection. And this one illusion is not doing enough damage fast enough. Gaimin Gladiators get back.
Man, Quinn is just on a rampage right now. And again, 1 level away from 25 here on the Wind Ranger. And I can't help but feel like you just take Undispellable Wind Run here. Because I think this focus fire on the low enough cooldown it is has been good enough in the fights. You're just going to throw it on the Terrorblade every time. Undispellable Wind Run is disgusting for how limited control they have on you in the first place.
If you know for sure you're throwing on the Terrorblade every time, then like if you get that 1 kill, it doesn't matter if you have focus fire again.
Nice
Supernova trying to finish off Tofu. They really want to pick off here, but they're just not getting it. The auras from Ace keep them alive for now. They're going to go for Ace now, but the Omni Slash is there. Juggernaut's going to be in this mix. And Arrow landed off the Juggernaut as he came back down. Now a second Supernova. No way, Dyrachyo. He runs
that arrow
into the most terrible arrow of his career. Now he's going to come back on his second life, though. Is he going to be okay? A spear away, arrow, Omar creating the space for the rest of Quest to be able to get away, but they've lost their Aegis. They want more off of it, and they will have it. Malik, he'll be brought back into his death. So 2 heroes for that Aegis. Ends up okay for Gaimin Gladiators, but what an insane arrow from Omar off that Swift Slash.
It looked great on paper. However, I feel like we all forgot that there's still an Aegis on this Juggernaut. Now you ended up committing your second egg off that refresher for Cowrie here. You don't really have anything for this fight except meta. It's going to have to be a blink backstab by TA2000 as he is close to buying out here.
They could buy for time if Gaimin
just a
Gladiators
throne
don't
push?
go for the throne, because they have a tier 2 at bottom lane. So Gaimin Gladiators have to hit tier 4s if they want to use this
early
timing.
glyph. What the hell was that glyph? Didn't do anything.
I don't know, but I think they thought that Gaimin
You're
Gladiators
in
would
trouble.
back away, but they're not going to.
You don't have a Mars buy. This is going to be a 4-on-5. You have to flank. You have to find a good position here. No Supernova for 50 seconds.
10 more seconds until they have the Mars, and that arena will push Gaimin Gladiators out of here. The threat of that combination coming back up, it's too great. Gaimin Gladiators will leave them with a tier 4 and a throne alive.
I think they feel very confident taking these late game fights. They also have an Aghanims on Celery here, so BKB preventing Static Storm is going to cause massive issues in the next fight. Item that Quest are maybe not prepared for when they go in. You catch that Terrorblade a little sleeping with the BKB trigger, and TA2000 is just going to disappear. There's no way you're taking a fight under that Static Storm into the Wind Ranger and the Juggernaut here.
An extra second of Omni Slash that's a lot
that's
more damage against that Terrorblade.
And that level 25 Wind Ranger talent is coming in soon. This is going to be a tough fight for Quest to take. It feels like you need another incredibly clutch arrow out of Omar here.
Radiant are scanning.
Noob is going to get that extra armor that you wanted. Shiva's suit for him.
It feels so delayed, though.
Yeah.
Just so delayed. The net worths are just falling off for Quest.
And their levels are so delayed as well. I mean, the one level that they have coming up that could be really important is the level 20 on Cowrie. The extra 1.5% on the Sunray damage this late into the game could be really, really impactful.
Wait, this is going to be a smoke up from Gaimin. They have a Lincolns on Tofu as well, so double Lincolns you're going to have to fight through on this Wind Ranger potentially, and it's all on TA2000. He bought out for Swift Blink here on the Terrorblade. No buyback for him. All in for Quest. You're going to lay the cards on the table.
Smoke is breaking. Malik is in a position. He jumps in. Immediately goes for the spear, but the BKB is too fast, and now the Supernova is being used. But the jump in from Dyrachyo. He's trying to spin himself out of here, but they realize he is so isolated from his team. They kill him, and Gaimin Gladiators are going to lose more now, potentially, with the refresh going outside. The Vice immediately trying to jump and slow down Ace. Telekinesis puts him away.
That's
Sword back in. Only catcher and Cowrie, though.
Where's the damage?
Noob is going to be able to get some more damage out. Terrorblade is reigning supreme here as he's running away. Wait a minute. He feels like they can't take that fight anymore. He's backing away because the buyback on Dyrachyo. He doesn't want to fight this carry any longer, and he does not get caught in the Omni Slash. He thinks about going back in now. Let's see if Noob can get out. Blink away, gets out in time, but they have to leave behind Malik. So the two supports and the offlaner die in exchange for Juggernaut dying and buying back.
And their throne was almost exposed here. This is something Quest are going to have to think about. You had one tier 4 that tanked up some time. You're not going to have those anymore. Both lanes empty. There's just becoming too much pressure points for Quest. Still, they somehow managed to find the Juggernaut buyback and all of that. Almost an backstab or a betrayal of a spin there for Dyrachyo. I think he'd much rather have just BKB, because then he could have Omni Slash something. And instead he's just stuck spinning and can't cast anything, and he just gets run down by the Terrorblade. That felt pretty damn bad. Something he's going to think about in this next fight.
He can't afford another death like that.
Oh, they took the Focus Fire advance. Very aggressive by Quinn. I mean, this will pay off if he can find the Focus Fire kills, and so far they have not been able to find the lockdown on him despite some of this Wind Run potentially getting dispelled. He'll get a Mars buyback to defend this last lane. No Roshan up yet. And man, has Cowrie done work in these fights. The Phoenix with these dive hexes setting up huge clutch pickoffs. And then these eggs, it's just so hard for Gaimin to commit in. It's only Dyrachyo that can really deal with him. And if he's the one they're going on with the hex, you got 2 rounds of this.
Quinn is very much relying on his quick reactions. If he gets caught by one of these spears, they will be able to break through that Lincoln's, get the nullifier on him. And then that win run, that talent he could have had is not going to be the choice. But he goes for the more offensive option with the double damage. It just might pay off. They've got more Lincolns too.
That is 3 Lincoln Spheres they can all throw on this Wind Ranger. Or the Juggernaut if you wanted to try and block this Hex. Might be a deciding factor in this fight, and double damage for Quinn on top of the Daedalus. He has no buyback here. If you find the Wind Ranger, you might just win this game. You've not been able to do it once as he is still 13-0, and now his damage
break
absolutely out of control.
Double spear! Double spear! That's a beautiful setup with the arrow on top of that one. They're going to lose their Rubik almost immediately, but so too does Malik die without much of an impact past that. The Supernova first used. They need another 25 seconds until another Supernova. They've already popped the meta.
The hill here, that's where your vision is. If your Quest, you just gave it up. T2000 did not want to stand his ground. He wants to find some backline. Maybe this Wind Ranger, maybe respecting the double damage that got popped there from Quinn.
They're going to try and chase out with that double damage. Try and catch these supports. They got him with the Glide here. They jump in. Omni Slash going out. Noob blinking into the static storm while TA2000 fights up against Quinn.
Nullifier on
He's
Quinn.
getting full.
He's gone.
The nullifier on him and he kills him. Now he turns his attention over to Duratu. The Supernova's going to explode. Duratu trying to dodge it with the Omni Slash, trying to dodge the stun. But now he's going to be in a group of heroes that he cannot walk away from. He has to fight his way out of this one. A spin. Actually, he's getting away. The meta is out. TA2000 couldn't put the Scotty on him. Now he's going to be slowed down in melee form. This is not good for TA2000. A Swish Slash going out, and he doesn't have a Sunder to stay alive. An immediate buyback from him. No Quinn, no Malik. A 4 versus 5 for the pit. Noob playing with these supports. Gotta keep his distance though. Swish Slash up in a second. Just the melee damage could be enough. Noob, he's spotted. Thunderstrike keeping up. He got glimpsed back. He got him.
That's another buyback forced out from Quest. I still don't think they can fight without the meta. 60 seconds here. T2000 is just a creep without it. He's getting kited by the pits, the fields, the telekinesis. They finally found Quinn. They will put a death on the Wind Ranger's board. And it's still not enough to power through the Juggernaut in the later portion of that fight. It takes so damn long to kill these heroes that your meta just runs out. Expensive buybacks here for Quest, and now they are
up with
absolutely
no meta,
all in.
No Supernova.
I mean, you gotta force it, right? No Wind Ranger for 25. This is your chance. No Omni Slash as well.
Malik, he sees an opportunity via blinking, gets in the arena, only catching
that static storm.
Static storm, putting 3 inside. TA2000 desperately trying to fight up against Duraccio.
He can't beat me.
Sunray, he's trying to get up and Thunder. No, he can't do it. Too many Lincolns, too many options for Gaimin Gladiators, and now they have to fight through without their Terrorblade. Noob, he's getting big damage out of this Aghanim Scepter. Don't get me wrong, it killed the Rubik, but eventually his BKB is going to fail. Eventually he's going to be pulled back with the glimpse. The Thunderstrike, a little bit more damage. Celery, the support is trying to kill him with actual attacks. It's not enough. Noob will get away into the 9th, but Gaimin Gladiators win the engagement enough that they can finally take Roshan.
Oh, Celery, you absolute god. That static storm might have just salvaged this game, because I think that fight was looking pretty damn good for Quest, right? If TA2000 gets his items off, I think you win that engagement. You have no Omni Slash, you have an egg going off with Max Sunray. You're just gonna go to town with this Terrorblade. There wasn't really response there. That's still a fight without the Wind Ranger in it. But one old man on a Raptor put all those plans to rest.
And he is going to take both the cheese and the refresher in particular. Getting double Aghanim static storms, potentially with the kinetic field duration as well, locking these heroes in. I mean, that is a team fight winner right there.
And the itemization. It's all about the itemization for gaming, right? These Lincoln Spheres, you gotta Sunder off onto a Lincoln's. That changes this entire game if that lands.
Yeah.
The triple Lincoln Sphere for Gaimin has caused a mountain of problems.
And Gaimin Gladiators, 30 seconds till the Terrorblade is back up, and they could just go straight for the throne. Quinn is going to go for it. Focus fire, they have a glyph, yes.
This might just be the game. I don't think
but he's got a refresher. He's going to re-PKB. What are you going to do? You can't refresh your glyph. Quinn is just laying into it. Bulwark, he's trying to redirect some of the attacks. It's never going to be enough. The arena trying to block the damage, but it is gone.
Before you can react. So if they were able to like force their opponents to fight and then layer their team fight